Hey everyone, this is Amanda and Monica or Loomy, and we're going to make a tutorial today for our bracelet miracle. Here it is. The colors we have chosen are yellow and blue, and they represent Down syndrome awareness. We made this bracelet because we're doing a walk in October for Down syndrome awareness, and this Down syndrome awareness has a special place in our hearts. If you all choose to make this bracelet, would you hashtag on Instagram Hope Miracles Believe? We'll put it in the description box also. We would love to see your creations. Here we go. Okay, first you're going to need a 5-pin bar setup. It's going to have to be in the staggered configuration. First we are going to do, you can't really see it on this one, it's clear up and down each side. And what you're going to do is you're going to put clear single band chains on the second row and then on the fourth row all the way up. Make sure to push them all the way down because you're going to have a lot on these two rows. When you're done looping, and if you don't push them all the way down, then they may get stuck in the middle somewhere. Okay, now that you have single rows going up the second row and the fourth row, we're going to start doing on the outside the yellow and the blue. First we're going to start with the yellow, then we're going to do the blue. The yellow, you're going to start right here on this first bar on the second pin, and you're going to go from the second bar over to the first bar. Go all the way up. And stop right here. Don't go to that last pin at the top. Leave that one empty of the yellow. You're going to do the same thing on this fourth bar and the fifth bar. Start at the second pin and go over. Alright, now we're going to put on our ocean blue. You can choose a different color if you want. These are the colors that we are doing for Down syndrome awareness. We chose all yellow and all blue, different shades of blue. I'm pushing these down as we go so we can add more bands later on. Okay, you're going to stop right here. You don't go all the way up here with the blue. I'm going to do the same thing on the fourth and the fifth. Oops. hopefully your loom looks like this right now. Now we're going to work on these perimeters on the outside. They're going to go on the 1st and the 5th pin. We're going to be using the neon blue from Michael's Rainbow Loom. And we're going to start on the 2nd pin, and you're going to stretch it, or the 2nd bar, 1st pin, stretch it to the 2nd pin on the 1st bar. And then you're going to have a single chain going all the way up the 1st bar. Now right here, you're going to go from this pin all the way up to that 1st pin. You're going to do the same thing on this side. You're going to start at the 4th bar, 1st pin, go to the 5th bar, 2nd pin, and do a single chain all the way up that way. Oops. All right, now you're going to go from this pin all the way over to that 1st pin of the 4th bar. Now we have all of the bands that we're going to put on the 1st pin and the 5th pin. Now we're going to work in the center. For the center, we are going to use double bands, and we're going to be using the royal blue double bands. And what you're going to do is you're going to start in the 3rd bar, 1st pin, and you're going to put them on the 1st pin, and you're going to twist them. So it looks like this. You have a figure 8. Then you're going to go up and twist them again, so you have 2 figure 8s going up. Now you're going to change your colors. If you want to, you don't have to, but for us, we're changing our colors to yellow, Rainbow Loom yellow. Remember, 2 bands. You're going to twist the bands to figure 8. 2 more yellows, figure 8. And whatever you stopped with on top is what you're going to start with on your next, basically, X. So we stopped with yellow on top, so we're going to start with yellow on top. Oops. If that happens, that's okay. Just go in and grab it. We're going to start with yellow on top, and then it will be underneath the blue this time. There's the yellow. There's the blue. So now we have blue on top. We're going to start with blue going up. I'm going to do this one more time, and then we'll fast forward through this. The yellow's on top, so now we're going to do yellow first. There's the first yellow. There's the second. Now we're going to do the blue. The crossing of the bands is very important. It just adds an extra little oomph to it for some reason. Alrighty, if you haven't got the hang of it so far, rewind a little bit and see if you can get the hang of it. We're going to fast forward until the very end, and then we will show you how to finish off the ending up here with these X's. All right. Okay guys, so I finished out the bracelet up till right here with the X's. Now we're going to have one more X to go. I wanted to show you how far we needed to go with the X's. So since the yellow's on top, we're going to do yellow again. So I can get it on there. You know, we're not professionals or anything. I mean, now we're going to do the blue. Make sure I had two. All right, that's the end of all of the twisted figure 8 X's going down the second, third, and fourth bars. Now what we're going to do is we are going to lay a single band that we're going to double. I'm going to use the ocean blue, and I'm going to stretch it a little. I'm going to double it, and we're going to put it in between the two pins on the second and the third pin on each one of these in the middle. I'll do all of them with you. I like stretching them out a little bit because it helps when you get them on the loom so they don't break. As that happens, I just use my hook and I pull it over. And this is going to be our last one. We're not going to put one on this last peg on the second and the fourth row. Because that's where we're going to stop our bracelet and where you could add an extension if you would want to later on. Now what we're going to do is you're going to need to put cap bands on all of the third row pins except for the very top one. We're going to do it with the new Michaels Rainbow Loom Neon Blue, which we really like. We love that they're not the sticky neons anymore. They're very nice to use. You could just double them twice. I find it's easier to use my fingers with doing cap bands like this instead of trying to put it on the loom and then do it, because sometimes I slip off of the loom, and that's when you have those rubber bands that go flying and you won't find them till a week later. You need to put these on so when we loom out the figure 8 X's, that the figure 8 X's have something to hold on to. Okay, that is it. Now we're getting ready to do our looming, but a lot of you are wondering why we don't have cap bands yet. We're not going to put our cap bands on just yet. They will go here, but what we're going to do first is we are going to loom out all of the figure 8 X's first. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to turn your loom around. So as we say when we're teaching classes, that you have a frowny face instead of a happy face. And what you're going to do is you're going to go in the middle of all of the cat bands, and you're going to reach in and grab the first two set of bands that are on top. For me, it is blue, and you're going to bring them back to where they were originally. And then it should be, the next set should also be the same color. It should be blue as well, or whatever color you're using. Then the next one is yellow for me. You always take them back to where they started. So now this is how yours should look, and you should have basically a square here in the middle. We're going to move on to the next cat band right here. So I always like to pull my cat bands back a little bit so I can see what's on top. And there's a yellow on top. And this is what I was saying, you needed to push your clears down because you're going to have so much on your second and fourth bar. If that happens, just put it right back down there. Because you're going to have a lot of bands on that second and fourth bar. I think I missed one. Hold on. Yep. If you only do one at a time, that's fine. Some people are only able to get one band at a time. You can do one band at a time if you would like, but make sure you get all of those bands off of the middle. You should have nothing on that center peg once you have loomed them all out. Just keep going. Oops. Sometimes you may have to hold the cat band so it doesn't fly off, because I've had that happen a few times. That first one's always the hardest to get. And we got one that time. Also, if that happens to you, make sure that that blue band stays on either side of that middle peg. Last one. We're in the home stretch. Well, at least in the middle part we are. Okay, now we have all of the middle loomed out. So it should look like this. Take a look at yours and make sure that it looks like this in the middle. It should look like you have a bunch of squares. Now we're going to work on the outside. Alright, first those cap bands here at the end are going to come into play now. We're going to use clear on the cap bands, and we're going to put them around 3 times. So when I have to do them 3 or more times, I usually do them on the peg. So there's 1, 2, and 3. One came off. There, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now that we have got our cap bands on, we are going to go under the cap bands, and we're going to get this blue, neon blue out here first, and we are going to loom it. Let's find it. You're going to go underneath all of the bands. It looks like, let's see, all of the bands, and it should just be the blue and the clear that are on the bottom. So you're not going to go all the way to the clear. You're just going to grab the blue and you're going to pull it up. And you're going to stretch it all the way over to where it started at. Now let's do that one again on this other side. Hopefully you can see maybe. Going to go all the way under all of the cap bands and the other bands that were on there and get that neon blue. And stretch it back over. Alright, now we're just going to do the single chains all the way up on both sides. Make it so we can see it a little better. Last one all the way up there. Now we're going to do the same thing to this other side. You did the first one already. So let's start on that second one. Make sure you're just doing those neon blues or whatever color that you have chosen for this part of the bracelet. We've seen so many different bracelets on Instagram from people. We would love to see your all's bracelets if you choose to make the bracelet that we're making right now, our miracle bracelet. Alright, so you have the 2 chains at both sides of the loom. So what you're going to do now, and this helps me, if I put my hook in this first pin here at the end, and what you're going to do is you're only lifting the neon blue off of those pins, and you're only holding it at the starting end because those are not hooked together. At the other end, they're hooked by the cap band. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I put in do the same thing to the other side. All right, so now we have both of those chains. These chains are free right now from the actual bracelet, except for up here at the top and down here at the bottom. Okay, so now the step that we're going to work on now is we're going to loop the yellow and the blue, but we're going to start with the yellow. And the next band that comes up is the blue. You're going to loom them into the second and to the fourth row. Right now I'm working on actually the fourth row, and the next I'll do the second. Each peg is going to have a blue and a yellow, except for the first peg and the last peg. They will just have either a blue or a yellow on. Might help if I put my hook the right way. If y'all haven't already found out, we're kind of loony sometimes.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. All right, we're at the end of this one, and the end of this one is blue. Now I'm going to go over here and do the second bar. Oops. If that happens to you, that is totally fine. What I'm going to do is, it's still hooked onto the second bar. I'm going to go underneath the neon blue, and I'm going to get my hook in there, and I'm going to grab it, and then I'm going to be able to put it back on the second pin. It's okay, we all have times when those bands like to fly. They believe they can fly. Don't you hate it when you drop a whole thing of jelly bands, and you try and get them up and they're jumping everywhere? Those are like the worst to drop. Not saying I have any experience doing that or anything, but I just thought I'd put that out there. Love jellies. Hate picking them up. Alright, we're getting close to the end. The end is near. Alright, that was our last one. Now, we only have one more step. Oh. Okay, now underneath all of this, I just want to let you see, underneath all of these are the clear that we put on the very first. Those perimeter ones that we put on the very first, and if you can see on our bracelet, the little, on here, you can barely see them, but they are right here. You're going to have to go through all of the bands that you just looped together, and you are going to have to find the golden clear ones. Okay, here's the clear. I've gone through my cat band, the blues, and I've gotten my first clear through all of them, and I'm going to loop it up. All you're doing is, it's a single chain, but you have to go through so many bands. You have to go through all of the bands to get it. So you want to make sure that this band that you choose to put as the perimeter is a very sturdy band. All the bands we're using are rainbow loom, but we just want to make sure that you use a very sturdy band, because if you don't, your bracelet may end up breaking because it takes quite a bit to get that band up there. It's even taken me quite a bit to find it. Sometimes it helps me to turn the loom to the side. Oops. See, that could happen, but do you see how it's stuck there still, that it's not going anywhere? That's how much tension is on this bracelet. Oops. Okay. Getting in the home stretch, guys. The official home stretch. I don't do that well with sports or anything, but we're doing pretty good. I hope your rolls are looking just as great. All right, so we've looped all of the clear perimeter bands all the way up. Now what we're going to do is we are going to take two clears and we're going to put them in this first peg. We're going to hold them there with our trusty hook. You're going to need two more bands. We always like to use two, especially on these thicker bracelets, because we don't want to have all this work done and then have a single band break on ours. So we always like to use two. It may be a little much, but we don't want all of our hard work going to nothing. Okay, so now you gotta be careful, but it's time to pull it off the loom. Everyone cross your fingers. Eek! Whoa, that almost hit me in the face. Okay, so right now we are going to just leave it. We're going to leave it on the hooks right now, because what you can do is you can do an extension if you would like. We usually don't like to do extensions. We would do ours on two looms. I have a bigger wrist, and I had to do mine on basically 1 3/4 of a loom, and this is how big mine is. This is on one loom, and we love it, and we're gonna have these for our Down syndrome walk in October. You can make yours in any color. We would love, love, love to see your hashtags with Hope Miracles Believe on them on Instagram, and we'll put that in the description box. if you like our bracelet miracle, or if you would like to subscribe to our new channel, Amanda, Monica, or Loomy, please give us a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, and please leave us a comment. Also, we are on Instagram as Amanda and Monica or Loomy. Bye, guys.